this is part 67 of Ocarina of Time 3D, and this part we'll be going through the second part of the Spirit Temple, and we'll get the Silver Gauntlets. We'll get a cutscene with Twinrova, and then we'll go back, come back as an adult. You know what? I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. Okay,
I'm just gonna sit here and let you go as long as you need to.
We'll come back as an adult and get the compass.
There we go. So that's enough. Now, did you get all that?
Yeah, I got it.
Now this
I changed my words up. I had them written down. I changed them up from what I had written down. I just screwed the whole thing up.
You gotta pay attention to your notes, man. You gotta keep an eye on them. But
it actually read what they say instead of like switching the words up.
Yep. Now we're actually gonna spend a decent amount of time in this room. You saw we've got the couple of BMOs. We also have yet another silver rupee kind of puzzle, and I feel like there's just a lot of them in this dungeon. There's 3 or 4.
And I'm not a fan because it's not necessary. Like, okay, one in a dungeon. First of all, I don't really care for the silver rupee like puzzles or runes because once you do the first one, you're like, okay, some of them are fun because you gotta figure out like a way to get that rupee, but 1 per dungeon is enough. Like I said, I think we get at least 2, maybe 3.
I think we get 3.
And it's just not necessary for this dungeon. Like, to me, this whole, I call it the BMOS room.
Yeah.
Because there's 3 of them. To me, this whole room is just tedious, and one of the few rooms in the dungeon I didn't like.
Well, it's weird because there's 3 different puzzles going on in this room. Like, we've got the 5 silver rupees to light the first torch. We're going to use that first torch to avoid getting
blade traps, dude. Those blade traps are always a little bit quicker than you think they are, and plus they give me every single time.
There just wasn't much of a gap there for you to run between either, so you really had to time it right. No. I mean, I run into those things. I'll never forget the first time that I went to record this for us. I think we ended up using your recording. The very first blade trap that we encountered, I ran right into it.
Well, that's not that bad because at least you didn't like stop your motion. Like you saw me, like I sat there, I stopped, I looked at it a little bit, tried to time it, and then I still missed it. It's like when you get closer to it, I guess your like viewpoint changes, and you're like, oh crap, that's going a lot faster than I thought it was.
All I know is I just ran straight into the very first one. You looked at me and you were just like, you want to start the recording over again?
That was good times.
I'm like, we should probably go ahead and start that over again. So,
that's way back in the day.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
But this room, it feels like it's been a long time.
It's like I said, it's like very tedious. There's so much to do in a small room, and really all you get out of it is like, oh, we open a door.
Yeah.
Open the door, obviously, then we get a key, so I guess a little bit happens. But, you know, I don't know, it feels like it takes too long to do that room.
But I love the approach to the mini-boss fight, though.
Agreed.
This like, little hallway, there's not much to it.
I love the red carpet. Love the red carpet. Just kind of makes the, I guess we got, like, light brown walls going on here. Just makes that stand out a little bit more. Also, it makes the red carpet stand out a little bit more.
It does.
Although red carpet is going to stand out quite a bit, so.
Yeah. But like you got like the red torches on the wall and everything just lining the approach. It felt like you were approaching a big important room, which I love the Iron Knuckle fights.
They're a fun fight. I like them as a child because they're a little bit more hard as a child. Yeah. Like it's still like it gives you a lot of damage, which we're not sure if you take the same
3 or 4 hearts
as you do as child versus an adult.
Yeah.
But just you have to hit him a lot more. He just looks a lot bigger as a child. So love the child fights with the Iron Knuckle. Adults not so much, but the Iron Knuckles just look awesome.
He really does. I mean, just the armor, the giant battle axe that he's whacked us with once already, and I like how like he can actually knock out those pillars with his axe. And I thought that was an interesting.
I just want the axe. Like why can't it just be Wind Waker and like he drops that weapon and then we get it?
Or how can it be like Galactos' swords? You know, that'd be nice.
Okay, that's true, but like that thing, like imagine Child Link holding that thing. I don't know how. By the way, he did not hit me right there.
I guess he swung right over top of your head.
He must have, but like Child Link walking around that battle axe would look awesome.
Yes, it would.
And you want to talk about the room that like we kind of talked about beforehand.
I just love like the axes on the wall, the little design around the door. It made it feel like an important room to be fighting that.
One of those things is with the remake they could add that detail which we talked about maybe once, maybe twice this playthrough or 100. I'm not sure, but just that room just looked really cool, just a little bit different, really cool.
You know who doesn't look cool? Gabora Kapora, or however you pronounce his name.
I don't even try. I don't even try because I don't like him.
But the good news is this is the very last time that we encounter him until I think like the ending credits. I think he's in one of the cutscenes at the end, but he says he's got his last piece of advice for us, so we are finally done.
Well, do we see him as an adult or not?
I don't believe so.
I thought we saw him as a child, which is kind of cool because now he's coming back, because obviously we're a child.
Yeah.
So I kind of did like that, but I couldn't remember if we ever saw him as an adult or not.
I don't think we do.
Now, one thing I find like oddly similar is the statues on the inside and the outside. Like, I don't know if they're actually the same statue or not. Like, I really want.
They're very
similar. I wonder. I don't know if it has any meaning behind it. I'm sure somebody could find some kind of meaning in it, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool.
It really is. I mean, it kind of shows like it's a consistent theme throughout the dungeon. It's like you had this great, huge statue on the outside. It's like, and they had a almost copy of it on the inside as well, even with like the snake kind of and what do we say, the zebra skirt or pants or she's wearing.
That doesn't look like it's representing a Gerudo girl or Gerudo thief.
Yeah,
like it looks like it's maybe like they're like the statues represent like a god or something like that.
Yeah.
And so that makes me think, because like I said, it doesn't look like a Gerudo thief or a Gerudo female.
Yeah.
You know, was another word.
It doesn't look like the man either.
Well, no, it definitely doesn't look like the man. So I just kind of find myself wondering what that statue represents.
It's a really cool visual though, and I like the cutscene there with Nabaru getting kidnapped by I'm going to call them Twinrova because it's Kome and Kotaki or however you say the actual sisters' names. They're going to be Twinrova from here on.
I say Kotake. I say Kume and Kotake. That's what I say, but like every other stupid character in Zelda, there's always 20 different pronunciations for them.
And I really think it was cool just to come to the outside and stand on the hand to get our first item. And actually, we're going to do almost the exact same thing as an adult Link, and I love the idea of getting 2 dungeon items.
Exactly, I love that too. That makes this dungeon stand out a little bit more. Now, it reminds me a lot of the Wind Temple in Wind Waker. We didn't get 2 items in that dungeon, but we used 2 items a lot.
Yes,
and the hook shot and the Deku Leaf, I believe, right?
Yes, we used the leaf.
I just love when a dungeon, like, kind of, let's be honest, like, most dungeons, like, focus around that one item that you get. So it's kind of cool, like, you know, that dungeon focuses around 2 items instead of 1, even though the gloves don't really
They're kind of passive.
That much. I mean, it just basically allows you to push a block, so.
But going along with how we mentioned earlier that we see a lot of this old enemies, we do use a lot of the old items. Like, we'll use the hook shot, we briefly use the hover boots again, we'll use the Lens of Truth for a moment.
Yes,
I mean, like, we use a lot of old items to go along with the 2 new ones we get in the dungeon.
Which really, that's usually safe for the very last dungeon, or we always call it, it's not really a dungeon to us, it's more like a final challenge before the boss, but we usually see those places use them a lot, not the last main dungeon, but you know, they did this when we already talked about the enemies. I kind of like it. That they also brought back all the weapons. Now, one thing I do want to say about earlier being out that statue's hand was just a view also. That we saw the whole Desert Colossus. I love that view.
And just like Link, like peering over the edge down when Nabaru, I'll get her name right one of these days. Nabaru got kidnapped, just like him, like leaning over the edge, just like, don't fall, buddy. That is not going to be fun.
And you brought up a very good point, actually, that she is. We'll see her later on in the dungeon, but we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about her.
Yeah, we'll talk about that time. So. Not really. I didn't want to give too much of a spoiler away if you somehow never played this dungeon. I guess it's actually possible that some people have not played this game. So
we don't want to know those people.
Well, yes, we do. Well, if they're watching this video, I want to know because
that's a good point.
Hey, Red, I want to keep our fans. Okay, I don't want to say I don't like anybody who didn't play Ocarina of Time.
I didn't say we didn't like them. You said I don't want to know that.
Now, here's what I don't understand: why is that white wolfos like in a spirit temple out in the desert? It's like the polar bear in Lost.
Oh God.
Like, there must be some magnetic fields or something like that.
He's got that look where he's like, where are we?
Yes, exactly. But I remember I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Lost right there in this stupid polar bear. Like, why is this random enemy right here?
This was well before Lost, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Next thing we'll know, we'll see a freeze art in here somewhere.
You might. You might. There's going to be a smoke monster somewhere, too. But.
Yeah, well, we already got that in Bomb of the Well.
We did.
That was Bongo Bongo. We got rid of him a while ago.
Ugh. You never know when the guy from the House of the Dead's going to come back, though. Like that, though. You never know when the guy from the Shadow Temple.
That is true.
He might come back from the dead.
He's already dead, or isn't he?
I would assume so.
We just split him up like Demise.
Yeah.
Or not Demise, the Imprisoned. All we did was seal him up, and he's gonna come back a little bit later.
Don't even bring up the Imprisoned.
Now, one thing that really frustrates me about this dungeon is the interior decorating in some places. Like, who in the world decided that? Hey, let's have a room and let's just put some rolling boulders.
Yeah.
And just let them go back and forth, which somehow, I guess, because of the grooves, they're rolling in a perfect line, but
it doesn't make any sense to me. But maybe it's hey, they wanted to protect their silver rupees, I guess, but they failed pretty miserably.
Because she says well, she's hanging out here, right?
Yeah.
I can't say
Never. Yeah.
Like this is kind of like our place right now, but Ganondorf and his minions were also using this as a hideout. So
yeah.
Maybe it's just a trap that you couldn't get to them when they were wherever.
That's
so
a good theory as any. That's all I know.
But I think the Iron Knuckles has some throne rooms, so I guess you can also think about that. That's where they were. But anyways, let's go ahead and wrap up part 67 of Ocarina of Time 3D.